Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is January 1st, 2023, and we would like to welcome you to the Boom Goes the Dynamite 2023 AEW Hook Awards. This, of course, is where I and Kevin Ely from the Boom come together with Paul Fontaine and Jeff Hawkins from the Dynamite show, and we go over the year that has been in AEW. And we pick our winners for various awards. We're going to ask you to give us your picks for those awards in the chat. And let's get this going. Kevin, how do you want to start this?
You said you
also, I'm sorry, real quickly. We apologize for the raccoon trapped in whoever's air ducts. But we hope you can all work past this. I can't be the only one that hears this.
Oh, no, I hear it. I want to know who's responsible.
I have no idea.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to be hearing, so maybe it's me. I don't.
It's like
I can't hear nothing.
Tapping?
That might have been me writing.
It might have been. Oh, all right. Write something real quick. Write something.
Oh, dear Lord. Show's already off.
That's the raccoon.
That's the raccoon.
Okay, well, I'm done anyway.
I thought it was James typing. I was about to yell.
I was just finishing because I'm old school like Dave. So I was finishing my ballot for the Hook Award.
Wait, you did actual research on this and work?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, the rest of us are freeballing this. What are you doing?
I did. Well, James was doing his intro. That's when I did my research.
I actually thought
it was about research here.
Oh, there it's got a sticky note. All right.
Well, we are.
These are official awards.
So we're solving mysteries here.
Yeah.
I think this is a clear sign. It's going to be a great night. Kevin, I interrupted you just now.
That's all right. I wasn't saying anything.
I
think. Was there anything you want to generally talk about before we go into the specifics? Like I for one. I had an odd melancholy feeling about filling out these awards because it was there were a couple of times I had to be like, I would think of like, what was my favorite of the moment of the year? And I go, oh crap, I can't include that. That was in WWE. or like
Kevin, that was 2022 here.
Yeah.
It was a year of mixed emotions, I guess.
Yeah. A lot of my winners, I think, were very good winners, but they weren't the winners that AEW would have wanted at all. Not even close. And so I agree. This is going to be a really interesting show. Okay. What's our first category here, Kevin?
Let's start with our newcomer of the year.
All right, Paul, let's start out with you.
Oh, okay.
Who's your AEW newcomer of the year 2023?
Well, that's another one where I was really trying to think, okay, who actually debuted in 2023? I know last year we had a lot of candidates. But the one that really struck out to me, I just kept coming back to as I was thinking about different names was Nick Wayne.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like an obvious choice, and he's only here for really half the year, but I mean, he's involved in a pretty main event storyline and he's shown some character development and I'm probably forgetting someone obvious, but that's the one I'm thinking of.
I really like that one, Paul, because he's such a young guy who's so good. He's already been involved in a number of major storylines in Swerve going dark, going rogue, and now what's going on with Christian Cage. Adam Copeland, he is right there in the middle of some of the more interesting storylines happening in AEW today. So let's see. Let's go with Kevin next.
I had a hard time because a lot of these people that are newcomers full time, but they've been in before.
Okay.
So I picked Jay White.
That's a great choice.
He was somebody who, he had done Forbidden Door. He had done some appearances and things, but this was his first year as a full-timer. And to me, he was one of the anchors of the year. He was when Collision started, I felt like he was going to be the flip side to Punk as the I guess the main baddie of the
Jade's
show.
gone.
Yeah. And and that's what I thought when I said it. Yeah. He would have made a great baddie. He would have been really interesting.
Oh my God. He would look great.
But I mean, he held that place down. And
he did
the best tag team match of the year. Him and Juice, the Bullet Club, he made the Guns relevant. He was great in the well, I hated when he was carrying around that world title. When he didn't have it, because that just offended me. But great title match. Went to the I don't know if he can. He's got to rebuild a little bit to get back to being a top guy that I think, he could be a world champion, but he's probably 5th in the pecking order on that line at most. And
they've already started with that win over Moxley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he lost at the semifinals. So
yeah,
I'm still hopeful for him, but Jay White was one with a few unbridled high spots to me.
He came in, Kevin, well into the year. Can anybody remember about what month he came in?
Was it like March?
Really? I thought it was later than that. That was summer, but maybe right.
Either way, he missed at least a quarter of the year.
You know what? No, it definitely would have been after Mania, because there was rumors that he was going to go to WWE, right? So would it? Yeah, maybe early June,
April.
Yeah, so
April
he
5th.
So April he only 5th. Came into AEW. Maybe he was only here for 3/4 of a year, let's say, something like that. And he had 17 matches, which in AEW is a lot of matches.
Yeah.
A lot for AEW. So it shows he's let me see. They're really focusing on him, and I'm hoping that they're planning big things moving into 2024. All right, Paul. Jeff, you're up.
I also went with the full-time thing, and people have been in there. You've had bigger names. Will Ospreay, Adam Copeland. You're going to get mileage out of them. You're going to get mileage out of Shibata signing probably. But I went with Mark Briscoe as mine because it's a story that should have happened earlier than this. It should have happened when his brother was alive. But
yes,
the passing of his brother makes it, as much as you hate to say it, it makes it a much deeper story and more resonant. And especially the amount of goodwill he got from this AEW crowds and continues to get for all of his matches when he comes in. He is a welcome presence anytime he is on an AEW show.
Absolutely.
Period. His participation in this tournament, was a highlight for me as well. But I miss his brother dearly. I've said this, and I think the combination of those two would always be money. But you know what? I'm glad he gets to make a big payday now. And so my pick is Mark Briscoe.
I love it.
Jeff, I love that pick. I came down to two names here, and it was kind of it was between Nick Wayne and Mark Briscoe for me. Since Nick Wayne is the younger guy and he's in the big storylines, that's who I'm officially going to give it to. But I felt the exact same way that Jeff does. In that every time he's on the screen, I've got a smile on my face. And again, just like Jeff said, I loved him in the tournament. So that's
my pick, rookie year,
That's right. That's right. He's a newcomer. So I wanted to give it to kind of someone closer to a rookie. So Nick Wayne's my pick. Love the Briscoe pick. Anybody in the chat, let us know who your pick is for this one. And I believe our next pick is going to be Breakout Star.
Yep.
So let us know also who you think the Breakout Star of the year has been. And Kevin, let's start with you.
Oh, man. I mean, it has to be Swerve. I feel like that's almost a consensus pick.
That's a really good
I could be wrong. I would welcome someone else's divergent opinion, but Swerve.
I'll give you one.
Everyone's just assuming Swerve is going to be a world champion next year, or at least should be.
Yeah.
And if you watched World's End, even though he was had a match with freaking Dustin Rhodes. He was the guy who felt like the big deal in the company.
Yeah.
To me. And it's funny you brought up the Nick Wayne thing, because I had actually completely forgotten about that feud with him and AR Fox and Dick
Other
Wayne
people.
and Darby. That was the name I was trying to think of.
That was one of
And-
my favorite angles of the year.
Yeah, and he saw that to the end, to where it was like there was a definitive ending to that feud when he got put in the coffin by Sting at All In, and it was pretty much door shut at that version of Swerve, and then the door opened the next version of Swerve. The next thing, he's calling out Hangman Page, and he's becoming a top guy. So this is going to be the year of Swerve, I think.
I bet you're right on that. By the way, I'm going to throw out some random statistics throughout this episode, including the fact that Sting, I did not realize, undefeated on the year, 12-0.
I think he's undefeated in AEW, period.
Yeah.
I think he's never lost. And I don't think he ever should.
I don't think he ever will.
He clearly never should.
No.
Let's see. You are correct. 25-0.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. All right, Paul. Breakout star of the year.
All right. Well, full disclosure. Swerve is my pick. That's who I had first, but I want to give a different name. And I'm assuming that since this is an AEW show, and I don't think anybody here is dumb enough to pretend that ROH is actually a different promotion than AEW, right?
Yep.
So for me, and honestly, for the year 2023 and for what they actually did in the year 2023, and not to say that the next year won't be bigger for Swerve, I think it's Athena. She headlined 2 pay-per-views. She carried that division for the whole year. She had the title. I believe she won it on Final Battle last year. So she carried it through the whole year. And really, she's the only reason to watch ROH. Like and trust me, I signed up for the service to get Final Battle, and that show is worthless. But Athena is worth watching.
You just reminded me I got to cancel my
it's so
my honor
bad.
club.
Yeah.
That show is never getting picked up by a network unless he makes some changes. But Athena is a highlight. And she's headlined 2 pay-per-views, both great matches. She's made Billy Starks a star, who probably could have been a candidate for newcomer of the year.
I totally forgot about Billy. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I'm going with Athena.
That's a good one.
I love that.
All right, Jeff, you are up.
It's Swerve. It has to be Swerve. He went from being very good to great this year. He went from very good to, I mean, look, that beatdown at the Wayne compound is one of the best things AEW did all year, in my opinion. And then they totally blew it.
Of course.
If I were to have a second place, it might be Eddie Kingston, because I think that tournament made him a star, as opposed to just being a guy that a lot of people like. Now, of course, they need to follow up on it, but I don't think there is an answer other than Swerve. I like your Athena pick, but Swerve is a star type star, and they're getting in this dangerous territory again. They love doing this when the heels get over, and now we gotta figure out a way to make them babyface so we can cheer them.
Yeah.
And this is where it's going to be dangerous for Swerve, I think, in many parts. Are they going to break him away from Nana? Are they not? How are they going to position him against Joe here? It'll be interesting. But yeah, Swerve's my pick.
Who did this?
Who did what?
Kevin. Breaking news. Cody Rhodes will finish his story in 2030.
Okay, so for breakout star of the year, I agree with you guys on Swerve, but I'm going to go with a different pick because I think there's something that needs to be documented here. When historians look back on this podcast in the future to see what happened in 2023, and I'm going with Orange Cassidy. For much of the year, he was the star in AEW. His international title run was absolutely epic. And anytime in a year where they lost so many, my God, this is such a terrible pick. We've lost Jeff Hawkins already. My Lord.
He's walked off.
Yeah. But
in protest.
After losing so many major stars throughout the year, Orange Cassidy was always there. He had a 29-1 record as a single this year, and I believe he had a total of 60 matches, the most of anyone in AEW this year. And so I'm going with Orange Cassidy. I agree with you guys with Swerve, but I just want this on the record. There were times when nothing was happening in this company but Orange Cassidy, and the one thing I wanted Dynamite to start forever with his music hitting.
Oh yeah, and it did. Like for a while, that was pretty much the opening of the show. Was Jane, which breakout star of the year might also be that song to me.
And that's not a bad idea. And I love this from Sideswipe 70 saying Toni Storm. She definitely moved up in her star power, I think, this year in AEW for sure.
James, I really like that pick of Orange Cassidy, by the way. It's one of those things where it's like he's on every week, so you kind of don't appreciate how much bigger he's gotten in the year 2023. But that guy is possibly the most bankable babyface they have right now.
I think so. Because that's something we talked about at the end of the year last year, is that we need a real babyface star in AEW, and I think that's the closest we've gotten to it this year.
And I mean, he's low key MVP candidate, really.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we'll get to that later, but
all right,
it would be. Is that everybody?
That's everybody. So next up, I believe, Kevin, is the Elite Delete Award.
Yes, the award for a match, moment, or person that you would like to delete from the year, or the Butterfly Effect Award. What one change would you make that would change the course of the year in a positive way, you think?
Okay, I'm going to start this one out. CM Punk, delete. Next. Let's start with you, Paul Fontaine.
Well, my I wouldn't say Punk. And I mean, I understand why you're saying that, and it's not even a bad choice, but I am going to say, and it's Punk related, and I teased this on the Dynamite show, I would delete AEW Collision. As much as I enjoyed that show as it started, and especially when Punk was on, to be honest with you, and then obviously in the tournament, the tournament's been great. So they've kind of found their footing, and it's a good show, but it spread them too thin. And Tony is all over the place with his booking, and there's not a lot of people watching Collision, so there's angles that only happen on Collision, and then when you get to a pay-per-view like we had on Saturday, half the fans haven't been following those storylines, so they don't know what's going on, and they're not into the characters and the storylines. And I just think that this company wasn't ready for another 2 hours of primetime television. And I'll also say, you don't give CM Punk Collision and all that power, maybe we don't end up having what happened at Wembley, where he's got all this power and he's telling Jack Perry what angles he can do, what angles he can't do. And so when Kevin talks about a butterfly effect, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the company creatively fell apart after Collision, and then like it's getting close to being back again. But it's a lot, especially for one guy.
Paul, that's a really great answer, especially the insane amount of power they gave him when Christopher Daniels was not allowed to come to the show. Like that's that's madness. That's madness. You have some of the top stars in your company, like you said, Hangman, traveling across the country, and then being told, get back on the plane. There's nothing for you here, or else just go to another building, a random building somewhere.
So you got a 10-second promo.
That's madness. Yeah. All right, Kevin, you're next.
Mine. Oh gosh, I've got a couple.
Oh my God. Well then,
I would take out the ramp at Grand Slam in Arthur.
Oh yeah.
Just have a normal ramp at Grand Slam, so that Adam Cole wouldn't jump off of it and destroy his ankle or whatever he did. Because I don't think you could have talked Tony Khan out of doing all this devil stuff and this Black Scorpion, Neo Black Scorpion angle for MJF. But doing that would have at least had them resolve it sooner, I think. And I think it probably would have worked if it had happened sooner and Adam Cole was an active performer when the turn happened. And he might actually be a really hot villain right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would have liked to have seen what would have happened if things had just gone to plan and not been stalled and for months and months and months.
What would you think of instead of getting rid of it, Tony putting an incredibly thick, like, cushion, like
Maybe
putting
just crash
bumpers
pads in general
Yeah,
around the ring
just
would have been
all
a good
crash
idea
pads.
because then Mox wouldn't
All
have
the
gotten
way.
concussed. Yeah.
All right, what you got, Jeff Hawkins?
I came very close to saying MJF's title run. I really did.
Ooh.
I
Oh, wow.
am not. It has been an albatross. I mean, look, I was praising this last year, and it was an albatross creatively on this product because the instincts were bad. But I can't get past the one person I would like to delete from this year, and that's Tony Khan.
Great answer.
I am so done with Tony Khan being a social presence on AEW shows. I don't mind him being behind the scenes. I don't mind him running things. But coming out and talking about how scared he was at Wembley,
Feared for his life.
and then going on TV and his terrible introductions and him being far too into his feels on social media, and then ending the year at this show being an absolute moral coward at the scrum. I am done with Tony Khan being an on-camera fixture. Go run things behind the scenes and keep it. They even made fun of how bad of a presence he is in that Adam Cole MJF comedy sketch where they go to knock on the door and he's yelling at them. I mean, even the parody of him is bad. I want him off of TV. It was just too overwhelming of a choice for me to just go after the guy at the top, because and I'm tired of him whining. I'm tired of him whining about WWE, negotiating with other people when he's been loyal this whole time. Shut up. This is big boy business here. Okay. I just go be an NPC and be heard. Don't even be seen and not heard. Just don't be seen and don't be heard. That's all I want. I want a year of silence from Tony Khan. That's all I ask.
Good luck with that.
So to sum that up, Tony Khan is 10 ply. He's spineless. Like, come on, man. You were never supposed to be a character, like Sideswipe said. We don't want you as a character. Also, my headphones are actively attacking me at this very moment. There we go. Okay, I'm back in business now.
Would you like to expound your pick a little bit, James?
Oh no, I was just summing up what you said. That's all. I think it's a great pick, a fantastic pick. Okay, Kevin, are we next up? I'm assuming is moment of the year.
Moment of the year, yes.
All
Could be
right,
anything.
Jeff. Your last pick was so good. We're starting with you.
James would have loved my second place, which was CM Punk returning only to get fired again. But I'm going with the show at Wembley. It was a big deal for this company. It really was. And it was a big deal for the wrestling business worldwide. And you can't deny that. And you can't deny the success of it. So I'm going with Wembley.
That's great. Okay, Kevin.
I have my pick is that, but I chose a very specific moment in it.
Jungle Boy, come on.
No, I did almost, because that was one of those butterfly effect moments. But it was actually just to give her a little bit of love is Soraya's entrance at All In, because that was one of those things where it was like, I hate to call it this, but that was a WrestleMania moment. That was one of those things where they were like, this is something that only works in this context with this person at this time. And I don't give a rip about the Knight family, wrestling family being on TV or, I guess her brother's on ROH now. He was at our show when we went a couple of weeks ago.
Good for him.
Yeah, I was happy for him. Was not super impressed, but that was like a, you know, a chills moment a little bit, you know, with the Queen music and the entrance to it, and I was like, okay, this feels like AEW is big time now. And you could extend that out to Osprey and all that, but in the fireworks and, you know, but that was the moment that felt uniquely like this is something AEW has never been able to pull off to this level before. So essentially the same pick as Jeff. But
so Kevin, do you think that WWE having the brother in NXT is a subtle way of contract tampering?
No, the brothers in ROH. Did I say NXT?
ROH. Oh, my bad. Okay. You probably said ROH because my brain is half dead. All right, Paul, you're up. Moment of the year.
All right. My moment of the year, and then I'm just gonna step away for a second after I give it.
Okay.
The debut of Edge. When he came out and that music hit, that was huge, and everyone knew it was coming, and it didn't matter. And they got the rights to the music, which was a big part of it.
That
Again,
was
like
wild.
with a lot of things in AEW, the follow up has been hit and miss. I thought they had a great match on Saturday, but you know, haven't been a huge fan of a lot of what they've been doing, but especially Edge. But you know, he's finding his way, and he's kind of bringing his own bit of WWE-ness to AEW, and the fans, you know, are getting into it slowly but surely. But you can't take away the debut. It was awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. Mine is underwhelming because it's basically the same as most of yours, which is All In. It was a transfer. I want to say a transformational moment for AEW, even though they kind of just went back to normal, transformed right back, like then a few days later. But it was a huge moment. It's going to be it's going to be very difficult for them to top that in any way with the next one. I hope they can. All right. So next up here, we have the storyline of the year.
Sorry.
I know there's so many to choose from. There's so many. I think we need to start with you again on this one, Jeff. You are clearly amped up for this.
Can we go over what weren't the storylines of the year and list all of them?
We could do the anti.
No,
I'm
gonna pick one out a little bit out of left field here. I think the Christian Cage as TNT champion, not TNT champion. This guy has been the rock of the mid card, and he's been fantastic. His building of this ridiculous feud where he wasn't really holding the title, but he was claiming himself as being the holder of the title was fantastic. Go ahead.
I looked up, I just happened to be looking today at the title history of the TNT just to see that they recorded Edge, and noticed that both Luchasaurus and Christian held the title for 198 days each.
Oh, wow.
50-50, speaking of statistics.
That's a wild coincidence if it was.
It was the most solid story that they had all year. It was the one where they had narrative focus the entire time. And it was the one where it logically made sense the entire time. And they didn't bail on it. And they didn't, you know, it was just a great story throughout the year. So that was mine.
That's a great one. All right. So my pick, I'm going back to my man, Orange Cassidy. A lot of people were invested in his international title run. Then when he lost it, we've got the whole him hungering for the title belt again. He was missing his precious. That's my storyline of the year, in a year with very few storylines. Jeff's pick is probably truer to the idea of storyline of the year, but I'm going with Orange Cassidy yet again.
What was Jeff's again? I missed it.
It was Christian Cage and the Christian Cage Luchasaurus title
TNT,
run.
Yeah.
Which is really, he was basically saying what we all have been talking about, or thinking, that Christian took this mid-card storyline and elevated it in a way that probably very few others could do if anybody else in AEW could. All right,
I love
Kevin,
that-
go ahead.
I love that both of those picks are someone taking a title and making it a bigger deal.
Yeah,
that's
it's almost like titles matter. Who knew?
it's heartwarming.
All right, you're next, Kevin.
Mine would be Eddie Kingston's journey to positive self-esteem.
I get that.
It goes back to September 2020, just a few months after Eddie debuted. He got his first world title match against Moxley, and they established that these guys had a long history and that Mox always kind of, quote, took care of Eddie when he was his own worst enemy. And then that storyline just sort of would get buried under the ground a little bit, but it would always be there. Then that turned into Eddie, quote, saving John Moxley from the exploding death match ring, which caught them back together, where they teamed together at Double or Nothing when the first live crowd show, or a live, full Daily's Place show.
Yeah.
But then it kicked into gear when Mox formed the BCC and sort of, in a way, kicks Eddie to the curb in a little bit with his new high stakes, butt kicker friends, and
Claudio,
right, and
Claudio
and Brian, the guys who look down
Yeah.
on him, right? So now it's like you've got the storyline of the guy, you and me were on the streets together, and now you're with your buddies who look down on me, and Mox doesn't really
His
that's all-
WWE buddies too.
right? That's all pre this year. Then the teams with them at Double or Nothing for Anarchy of the Arena, pours gasoline on Chris Jericho and gets some on Brian, and Brian's offended by that. Claudio joins the BCC. He's offended by that. Months of feuding. He's just, his self-esteem goes down and down and down and down because he thinks everyone's looking down on him. Then in 2023, he's losing all the time. I didn't check to make sure, but I'm pretty sure this was in 2023. It was when he had his match with Jun Akiyama. And that might have been late last year, but I believe this was this year. And there was a change where he started to, like, this is what I love and this is what I'm fighting for. He met his hero, Toshiaki Kawada, and had a great video with him, getting to meet him and tell him that he wears the yellow and black for him. He worked his way up. He won the New Japan Strong title. He goes to the G1 for the first time, defeats Claudio for the ROH title in New York. And then gets the confidence to put those two titles up on the line in the first tournament to become the live the dream of having a triple crown, and has to go through not only Claudio, but Bryan Danielson, and ultimately the guy who has always been avoiding him for this time, John Moxley, to prove that he can hang at those three guys' level. And the interview that they shot, in the locker room afterwards. I know Paul doesn't really watch those, but if you do, go check it out. After he's won and he's got the 3 belts and he's talking to Giancarlo, was just so wholesome, because he's bringing Giancarlo around and saying, you had this story with me. And he's telling the whole thing about how he never believed in himself and this is what he loves. And, pro wrestling saved his life. It's all that story, but it's just one of those things where you're like, man, this is the perfect blend of real life and storyline. And it just made me happy.
Eddie Kingston had a great year, an absolutely great year. And what a way to end it. All right. Paul Fontaine, the ROH historian.
Yeah,
Who's your
that story
storyline
Kevin
of the
just told is a heck of a lot better than the story I watched on TV with Eddie Kingston.
That was all on TV.
Yeah, if you explain it that way. So I'm gonna go with, and that's not a slam on you, Kevin. That's a slam on AEW.
Really not.
So I'm gonna go with. I'm also gonna go with Christian Cage, but not like exactly what I assume Jeff said, because I missed it.
Yeah.
But the whole patriarchy thing. I'm really
like, man. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I because I like what the specificity of the title run and the way I do think they messed up on what Saturday. I would have had Luchasaurus actually win the belt and then just hand it over to Christian, and he just carries it like a champ, just like he did before. And that's just going to drive Edge nuts. But no, like I just like the whole parenting thing. And then now that he's with Shayna and Mother Wayne.
Yes.
And the fact that she's calling herself Mother Wayne and Christian's calling himself Mother Wayne, and he goes on and on about how he's how he's getting together with her. It's only going to be a matter of time before the fans start chanting Mother Bleeper at Christian, and it'll be rightfully so because she's a mother and he's bleeping her. Jeff's look.
The New York crowd did not bite.
Well, no, because they were too into the whole Jericho thing.
It's too new. It's too new.
Yeah, it's just a little too subtle. But,
Yeah.
As she gets more mic time, because I'm sure that's the only reason why it's Mother Wayne, Mother Wayne, Mother Wayne, Mother Wayne. Just over.
I love that you're calling a chant that involves the F word too subtle.
No, I'm saying the story of her being the mother and what he's doing to her is too subtle. That's all. That's what I'm saying. But I'm sure that's why they're doing it. I Christian is going to be beaming when he hears that chant.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. So that's it. That's for me. And sorry. So if I miss it again, I had to go deal with Emily. So that's why I missed Jeff. I wasn't ignoring him.
All right. Well, our next category here is the Name Your Own Award. This could be absolutely anything. Kevin, let's start with you.
I hate to go back to All In again, but my Name Your Own Award would be Best Recruitment Stunt, which is that entrance they gave Will Ospreay at Wembley to give him a hint of what he could get next year at the end of the show if he signs with them. To me, that was, I don't know that, that experience at Wembley, I don't know how much that played a part in his signing, because if he did sign with WWE, he'd probably get many stadium entrances.
Right.
But something about it being in England and, getting to do it on his own terms. To me, that felt like another superstar moment that was like, even though it was against Chris Jericho and kind of, fourth, fifth from the top, to me, I liked that even though he was a one-shot guy on that show, they treated him like he was, the Undertaker or somebody, just like a huge, huge, huge star. So that would be mine.
All right. What do you have, Jeff?
I'm actually mentally changing it in my head as we go. Because I have a two-time winner. Biggest disappointment. Women's division challengers. Oh. They again this year, they couldn't figure it out. And now they're trying other things, which is interesting. They're trying the sports entertainment approach to Tony Storm, which is interesting. But again, it's another year of, you challenged for the TBS title? Well, we're going to give you a women's title shot in 2 weeks or 1 week without even earning it and stuff. It remains, this division remains a disappointment. And a lot of it, I think, was derailed by Jamie Hayter getting hurt. I get that. But also possibly the biggest disappointment was MJF's title run. I continue to have that in the back of my head now that I've mentioned it.
A lot of weak title runs this year, Jeff. A lot.
But this world title has never had a strong title run. That's the problem.
Kenny Omega.
He was doing shtick with Don Callis. I didn't think that was very good. But yeah, I mean, overall, the biggest disappointment to me is that they have not rectified what they did with the women's division. And I'm not sure a malcontent Mercedes Moné is going to help
fix it.
And they were
who just got lowballed by the WWE, in her opinion. I mean, she might be motivated and she might just be Miro. I don't know. It's going to be
they were handed a layup in May and they flubbed it with Mercedes getting injured and having to lose to Willow.
Yeah,
they should have capitalized on that, and they showed they mentioned it, and then it was like it never happened. And then they even gave her the Owen, and what they do with that? Nothing.
Kevin, can you pencil in for next year's award show the Motivated or Miro Award?
Yeah.
Ooh. I think we need to get that on the list right now.
Done.
And just put down Sasha Banks.
Congrats to Andrade today.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna pre-award that to Sasha Banks because that's what she'll be. because that's what she'll be going by this time next year. I bet.
Yeah.
All right, Paul Fontaine, who is your pick?
All right.
What is your pick?
Jeff, you probably want to just kind of slide your headphones off your ear.
I'm putting myself on mute. I don't know what you're setting up, but I'm going to.
Okay. I am going with the Boom Award to well, you know who I should give it to? James or
no.
Kevin. You know who I should give the Boom Award to? Roderick Strong.
Okay.
Roderick Strong gets the Boom Award. James. I warned Jeff.
It's an excellent pick.
I hate him.
Wait, are you giving it?
So that's okay.
Are you giving it to the Boom Award to the man you hate because of how much you hate Kevin and I?
He got over. He got it over. He got over a stupid gimmick. And I got to give him props for that. Now they're probably going to ignore it now because I hope they do. Anyway.
Now he's serious.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's Renee.
It's serious as a black scorpion.
It's gonna Renee, and she's gonna be like, "What? I can't hear you." Yeah. So that's mine. I can't wait for yours, James.
I don't have a good one, so I just went with. I have another 2-time winner, the Gear of the Year award, Sky Blue. Not taking any questions or comments at this time.
Nope.
All
no
right.
comment.
Yeah. So
let me get that. Let me get that in here for posterity.
That could be a dynasty. That could be a dynasty.
Which gear though? Which gear? Because she's wearing pants now.
Exactly. Yeah. That she almost lost this award very, very recently. It was her main gear throughout the year. Also, why I don't know whether or not calling her Sky Black. God knows. Match of the year.
Ooh.
Kevin, we're starting with you, buddy.
Dang. I had 2 and I was gonna wait to see which one was left over.
All right, we're starting with you, Jeff Hawkins.
I'll
you're on the bench, my friend.
Okay.
No, go ahead, Kevin, please.
All right, then I'll pick.
Oh,
okay, I'll pick the one I think is least likely to be picked by others.
Okay.
I don't know if this is actually my favorite match of the year, but this is one of the ones that I want to make sure people don't forget about, which is the strap match of Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks.
It's a good pick.
And the reason is Ricky Stark is one of the unsung heroes of AEW this year.
Yeah.
That guy comes to play every week and constantly gets the rug pulled out from under him because the bigger stars that he's supposed to be going up against and elevating himself against just keep tripping over themselves. And, Omega has diverticulitis. He has a excuse, but, feud with Punk goes to crap. So Bryan Danielson has to step in. And Bryan Danielson decides to make this guy a star by beating the crap out of him. And Ricky Starks just said, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" Because he's a star, man. And he dresses the part. He acts the part. He's a professional. Yeah. And this was one of those breakthrough matches where he was in there with a legend and he totally held his own. And I want to make sure it doesn't get forgotten.
That's a really good one, Kevin. By the way, can we get match of the year up on the screen here?
Oh, yeah.
I thought I had it.
No,
hang on. Let me.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's there.
Nope.
Oh, just okay.
There we
there
go.
in the middle.
There we go.
I got it on the bottom too.
All right. Now you, Jeff Hawkins. Who's your match of the year?
FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, 2 out of 3 falls.
That was my other one.
Yeah, I figured. And you know what? I would have taken it either way. I mean, it goes to my I love tag team wrestling more than singles wrestling. Came very close to picking that strap match though, Kevin, because I loved that as well, and I loved the Iron Man with MJF and Danielson. But I went with this one. It was because it came out of left field because I'm not particularly a big Bullet Club Gold fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought at times that Juice Robinson's antics were a little bit too over the top to the point where I couldn't concentrate because I was laughing too hard at the dumb, silly crap he was doing. But all 4 of these guys, I mean, this was FTR from black and gold NXT days.
Yeah.
Really, in terms of their work here. Not that they've never not been good, but they were motivated in this match, and you can tell. And the tag team psychology, the way that the 2 out of the 3 falls were paced. It wasn't like your standard 2 out of 3 falls match. You know, it kind of played a little bit with the pacing and the mentality. I just absolutely love this match. So
And that they did it on as a TV match with commercials. Like,
yes.
really impressive. And for me, that one was extra special because it had been spoiled for me, but incorrectly.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
So someone
too.
had
I think that was the
seen
Figure 4
someone
website and
say-
screwed it up or something.
No.
It was someone before the show said, "Hey, that's going to be a 1 hour draw."
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And
Yeah.
so
Same
the
thing
whole
that-
time I'm
like,
thinking
yeah.
1 hour draw, and then 3 minutes before the draw they won, and so it was like the extra added bit of being surprised added to it to me.
I had a moment like that as well, where something was a surprise, but it was the Punk return. Was what I had gotten that, but I didn't realize Randy Orton had returned too. So when Randy Orton came out, I popped because I wasn't expecting it, because I was expecting Punk, because I'd heard about Punk. But so it's nice when you get those unexpected surprises.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, match of the year was tough for me to pick this year, but my mind kept going back to Forbidden Door like it did the year before. So my pick is Kenny versus Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door this year. That's all I got. It was just a great match.
That is a great pick. That would have been mine.
Mm-hmm.
But I want your last. I should have just put James. Is it McDaniel or McDaniels?
Singular.
Okay.
Oddly
I should
enough.
know that. I've only known you for 15 years. You'd think I'd know that.
Most people
Jeff
know me as Peppermint Fatty or Peppermint.
Yeah.
So.
Jeff Hawkins over there laughing.
I'll take your
Okay,
beer.
so
Fine.
my top 2 were already picked, and they were the last 2. I forgot about that Danielson Starks match, but I do have another one that I think not a lot of people are going to remember, and probably not a lot of people liked as much as I did. And it's as much for the where it took place and how it took place and the placement on the show. And I'm going with FTR and the Young Bucks from All In.
Wow.
I love that match. Absolutely loved it. I did like the Bullet Club Gold match more. So I just wanted to pick a different match, but that was my second best match of the year. And like FTR had an underrated great year. And in a year that was not a great year for tag teams overall in the wrestling industry.
No.
I believe they were picked as ESPN Tag Team of the Year. And that's, a solid pick. I got no questions with it. Bushman had a good run. There's not a lot. Young Bucks had a great year too, especially if you include the 6-man tag matches that they had with the Mega at the beginning of the year, and with Hangman.
Considering they only had 9 matches the entire year, that's saying something that they had that many that were that good.
So was it 9 total, like including
9
the
total
6-man?
trios, tag,
and I'll bet
singles,
you they were
everything.
all 4 stars or better. Like
I bet they were.
Yeah, they don't. Well, I think they had one bad match actually that against like it was like I don't know, it was like Action and Andretti or Dark Order or something.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, so I really like that one, and I wanted to mention it because I remember when I watched it thinking, man, this is so good. Like as a 1 fall tag team match, I really loved it.
Let's see. I'm glad we got some tag team matches in there because I was trying to think of one. I'm much like Jeff. I've always preferred tag team wrestling, but I just didn't have one that I thought could beat mine. But you guys came up with some great ones. All right, so this final award.
Whoa, did we forget most favorite performer?
Probably so.
Performer.
Let's do that then.
Okay.
Most favorite performer.
My favorite performer. Yeah.
My favorite. Performer.
My favorite performer. Okay.
My God, I'm an excellent host. All right, Kevin. Let's start with you on that.
We got you. We're a team here.
We're also gonna do MVP this year, right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah. So in order to keep those two people separate, because to me they're the same person, I'm going to go with Samoa Joe.
That's a really good one.
Wow.
There was nobody who just was as consistently satisfying. Walk into the ring, talking on the mic, wrestling, wearing suits, smoking cigars, just being a man. And I almost picked for my Elite Delete was Punk beating him at All In, because I think if Tony Khan had just made the call at that moment, like as Punk's going to the ring, hey, we're calling an audible, Joe's going over, then I think Joe would have
you're
been
going
super hot going in this fall.
Absolutely.
He's just awesome, and I'm happy he's the world champion. I'm looking forward to a brief but illustrious title reign, and yeah, I'm going to go with him.
Great pick, Kevin. Jeff, what do you have?
I had Jeff Jarrett originally, but I realized most of my favorite
He's so
parts of
good.
him are watching everybody on Twitter panic that he might win a match. But I love him. He knows what he
He's
is.
so good.
Yeah.
And he's great at it. And I love it. Look, even that stupid Texas Chainsaw Massacre tie-in match. He was fantastic.
Oh
at
my
it.
God.
That was fantastic.
But the winner here is Samoa Joe.
Wow.
And as well, because he's everything I want in an 80s style pro wrestler. He feels tough. He talks trash. He wears a suit nice. He does it for money, and he likes the finer things in life. He exudes legitimacy every time he walks out. And look, there have been guys who do what he does in terms of being in the ring, because like both Rush and Andrade have just become, beat the crap out of you machines, and I love that. But Samoa Joe is still the best at it. So I just want to watch Joe chop a dude all day long, and then cut a promo about how much the guy sucks. So that's all I want out of pro wrestling. I just want fake fighting and talking trash, and that's what Samoa Joe is to me. But shout out to Jeff Jarrett for just being so damn enjoyable as a mid-card heel.
I was jumping up and down in my seat, literally in Winnipeg, hoping he was going to win the international title from Orange Cassidy. It didn't happen.
The fear on Twitter that night.
Oh
my God! Could they possibly give it to Jarrett? I was like,
and they sprawled right next to me.
I want to lick your tears. Oh, they're so tasty. Killing me.
Jeff, I like what you said about Joe there, and that you could drop him into any era of wrestling, and he could immediately be a top guy, and probably would immediately be a top guy. All right.
If you dropped him in 1984, he'd be Jody Hamilton, the assassin.
Oh,
you put him in Texas and give Skandar Akbar as his manager.
Yes. God, he's great.
It'd be beautiful.
Every era except for mid 2010s WWE, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah,
it's the one era.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, you're up next.
Right. I like Joe, but he wasn't even my favorite Samoan named Joe this year.
Wow.
Oh man.
I just have to get the line out there.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Okay, I'm gonna break the internet here. Because I never would have.
Okay, go ahead.
I never would have thought this ever. Certainly not before this year. And in fact, I famously after I think it was June 2022, I canceled my subscription to New Japan World and I put it back on the Dome when Jay White lost the title to Okada. Jay White is my favorite performer of 2023 in AEW.
All right.
This is a redemption story for Paul Fontaine.
Jay White was awesome all the time, and he's awesome because he's different. And like everybody else is out there trying to have a 5-star match, and Jay White is out there trying to put over his opponent at all times.
Wow.
And he like wrestles at a different pace. He's safe, but compelling. He had the match Jeff talked about. He had great singles matches with MJF, with all through the tournament. And I mean, he was undefeated, I believe, until he lost to MJF. And he's still, I think that when he got pinned by Moxley, it might have been the first time he'd been pinned. He was
3-1 in singles competition
Okay, there you go.
2023. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was the only pinfall loss. So like and just entertaining on the mic, the card blade. I mean, I can't wait till he has his entourage back, and that's been sorely missed, and that I think the Guns were the if we were the beneficiaries of this Continental Classic tournament and all the great matches, the Guns unfortunately were lost out because we didn't get to see them. And they're just coming into their own. But so Jay White is my favorite performer. Fight Game Media is going to blow up at this one.
By the way, I misspoke. He was 3-1 in tag matches. He was 15-3 overall on the year, which is a heck of a record.
Yeah.
Okay. My favorite performer. This is tough. There's so many wrestlers that did so many things dear to my heart this year. There's Jack Perry. Loved Orange Cassidy this year. Of course, Sky Blue, one of the cornerstones of this company. But in the end, I went with Swerve Strickland. And I've thought he was a true star from the moment he walked in, and he really came into his own this year, starting with the violent assault on the Buddy Wayne Wrestling Academy. Unforgivable. The things he did, unforgivable, and I loved every second of it. And so my pick is Swerve Strickland.
I love it.
That's a great pick. I think if we all picked a top 3, he might be in all 3, maybe.
I bet he would.
Probably.
I bet he would.
Yeah.
For me.
All right. So I know the next category has to do with Tony Khan, but I can't remember the full name of it. Kevin.
I don't have a graphic for it, but it's the thing you would make Tony Khan do. Basically, in 2023, he has to do one thing you say.
2024.
Okay.
2024. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
All right. So my pick for that is to shut the F up. All right. Next, Jeff Hawkins.
You took my pick. No. Only one thing. How long do we have? Kill the scrums. They serve no purpose to your product. They are look, they were a nice gesture to pretend you were being transparent to wrestling media, but you're not, because this whole business is based on deception. So stop it. The people who are involved in these scrums don't know their role. And I mean that literally, because you have content creators who don't know if they're supposed to play journalists or not. You have journalists who are afraid to ask tough questions because they want to continue to have the access so that they can get content for their sites. You shouldn't be putting people who have no ability to ask a journalistic question in this thing and make them think that, oh, I'm now part of the business, when they're not. And they basically make your talent look stupid most of the time. Look, there are some funny things that come out of this, but at the same time, we've seen with Punk, we've seen with Christian Cage, we've seen with others. Talent comes out there and they see people from these websites that criticize them or report things or whatever, and this is their time to then get their shots in, and then it makes for an uncomfortable situation all the way around. And it usually draws away, and this is the big thing from it, it draws away any positive things you had from the night you just had. And focuses all on these clickbait sites that are reporting all the negative crap that happened in these scrums. So I would kill the scrums.
That is the best answer I think I've ever heard, Jeff, because it's like a referee. When they do well, you don't hear anything from it. And almost everything that's come from these scrums has been an overwhelming negative, from the brawl out to just Tony Khan looking weird and having no backbone. There's only been negatives. If you know what the scrum is going and you start seeing things trend on Twitter, it's almost never good. That's a great one.
Yeah.
You know who does it right is WWE. And I don't know how they manage to get those people at those things to ask the softball questions that they do, but those are pure entertainment. That's all they are. And that's all that, if they're going to do
shoulder comment.
Well,
That's all they should be.
Paul, you don't think Tony Khan wearing a funny hat and sunglasses having to answer a question about sexual harassment isn't funny?
I don't know because I'm not watching a 2-hour Tony Khan press conference. That's the problem. Like WWE gets it in and out in half an hour. Like, you know, they
yes, we had to have a 4-hour scrum to get everybody's shit in too. Stop it.
That was one of the greatest Tony Storm performances we've seen this year. Putting the hat and the glasses on him and then bouncing.
And then challenging Wendy Richter and leaving.
And then he looks like a dork while he has to answer Corey Leib's question, which was the only good question in the whole
serious
thing.
question. Yeah.
Shout out to
for real.
Corey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Paul's all fired up. Let's hear from you.
All right. Tony, you're about to bring in Mercedes Moné. You don't want to mess this up. You don't want her to have win James's inaugural Andrade Award in 2024. So give yourself change your quota and tell yourself, okay, we are going to have either 2 or 3 women's matches on every single show, no matter what. I guess maybe Rampage could have one since it's only 1 hour, but just do it. And I don't think it's going to affect your ratings, but if it does, just stay the course. It'll eventually turn around, because if you don't, Sasha Banks is going to be pissed off and she ain't going to be quiet about it.
She's already.
And if you think she's bad, her fans are way worse.
Yes.
And
I really think they're going to. I think this is going to be a great year for women's wrestling in AEW.
I hope so. I mean, and it's going to be rough.
bit.
Don't get me wrong. I sat through years of WWE women's wrestling that wasn't the greatest, but the end game is that everyone's better off.
They did it. Exactly.
Yeah, they
Those are
had
great
3
answers.
tonight on Raw, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I only saw the. Oh, and Becky put Nia Jax over. Can you imagine? Like, wow.
Oh wow!
And it was a great match. Great match. I would recommend.
What is happening?
I would very, very good.
Okay.
I feel like I'm being gaslit. So Kevin, on to you.
Send Taz
Great.
Send Taz
really?
To me, one of the biggest things they could do to make a difference is get serious about their storytelling and commentary, and put people in who can tell good stories, and get people out whose whole job is to crack up their coworkers. And
who would you replace him with? Nige?
I would put Kevin Kelly and Excalibur as the main 2 people, and then keep Tony and maybe a couple of people as your rotating third guy if they want to have a third guy. But have Kevin Kelly and Excalibur go out there and have Kevin kind of direct traffic and be the storyteller guy, and let Excalibur get back to what he does best, which is call insane multi-syllabic move calls at a rapid fire pace, and make it feel exciting again. Don't just make it feel like your buddies. Like, watching wrestling with your buddies and joking around is fun. I don't want to watch other people do it. Like, this isn't Twitch.
Yeah.
And
it
that's
makes the
what
product
it's
seem
gotten
less
to.
important. I think you're dead
It makes
right.
the product seem not important.
If it's Kevin Kelly and Excalibur, which one do you think would be better suited to move into the popcorn stand Jones role and really deliver the Joneses on this?
He'll be at home watching.
I keep Shivani on that table because I think Shivani brings that David Crockett role.
Yeah,
look at him.
Look at that. That was awesome. You know, that kind of thing.
If they could get Mauro Ranallo in there, that would be
Jesus.
Oh, people!
Oh my
would,
God!
People
you don't like that,
exploding.
Jeff? Or
I love Mauro. But
I love Mauro, but I understand when Mauro decides he's going to get his 90s hip hop references in, you ain't going to stop him.
Oh, that's like
Who would
Stokely
even want to?
Yeah.
Stokely on those 20 or the Mercedes or what was it? The Willow and Statlander match.
Willow
Oh my
and Stat,
God.
yeah.
That was on the pre-show the other night. Oh, I mean, he's funny, but it's very distracting.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You know, Kevin, that seems like something that it's another thing where they don't have. I'm guessing they don't have a single person coordinating those people and how they want them to stay on task throughout the match. And
who produces the announcing is what I'm wondering. Is that
Tony?
Tony?
I believe.
Yeah, it's Tony.
And mostly what he's doing by producing it is saying, "Let me do it."
Yeah. And I like that they're not screaming in anybody's ears, But that's not what
They
I'm
should
talking
scream in
about.
Taz's ear. Shut up with those stupid jokes.
Yeah.
They
That's a
could
great-
do. I
that's a
mean,
great
you know what?
point
They
the
could
Sideswipe
have.
just made.
They
Yeah.
could have like Taz and maybe somebody else do like an alternate stream on YouTube or something, if for people that actually like that.
Yeah,
I'm
right
in
here.
for that.
Sideswipe saying there's a
Yeah.
reason the Manning cast is a secondary stream for Monday Night Football and not
I love the
mainstream.
Manning cast, but not when I
Yeah.
care about the game.
Put
Yeah,
Tab and
exactly.
Nigel on a secondary stream, and I'm here for that kind of a
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah,
Absolutely.
they could have JR do the producing.
That's actually a good idea for JR. Like, I mean, who better to produce the show and not be on it?
As long as because we're not going to hear them. So
Yeah, exactly.
shitting on
That's
the
not a
product.
bad idea.
Like, yeah. I mean, who else is there that could do it? Like,
Why does
I don't know.
Excalibur keep calling things bowling shoe ugly?
All right, are we ready for the MVP award?
Bowling Shoe Jones?
Bowling
Yeah.
Shoe Jones, exactly.
Bowling Shoe Jones here, but I digress.
MVP?
MVP,
Yep.
let's do it. Who wants to start here? Kevin.
I'll start.
Right.
It was all. He's
locked eyes with
also
me.
my favorite performer, other than Samoa Joe. He's also my favorite wrestler of all time, Bryan Danielson. He missed a little time with a broken arm, but my goodness, when I look at this guy's year, that Iron Man match was very close to my match of the year. It's in my top 5 or 6 probably of all the matches I've seen this year. And MJF deserves a lot of credit for that too, but I think that was where he really taught MJF how to be a main event talent, and I wish that they had stuck with that direction. I think we wouldn't be as dissatisfied with MJF's reign if we had seen more of that MJF learning how to be Ric Flair. He had great early matches during the year. Wrestled Timothy Thatcher in February.
Yeah.
Maybe that was when
Ricky
MJF
Starks
was bringing in all the different opponents.
Yeah, bringing
every
in
week.
those guys to prepare for the Iron Man. Had that strap match with
Starks.
Ricky. Had great tag matches. Had a Texas Death match.
Anarchy in the Arena.
Zack
Twice.
Sabre Jr. match. Anarchy in the Arena. Let's see. Had a match with Swerve that I need to go back and watch. Had a TNT title match with Christian Cage. Let's see. Then he went through the run into the fall, going into the classic, which I think I give him the credit probably for most of this classic. I think it was probably his idea, and I think he probably helped lay out. I wouldn't be surprised if he went there and filled out the check marks of who wins and who losses, to set up Eddie Kingston's win. Great. Let's see what else in there. Fight Without Honor at the final battle was fun. And then going into the Eddie Kingston match where he put Eddie over was great. So he was my MVP. He was the anchor, and he's also the guy who was involved in getting Punk fired. So kudos to him.
All right.
For better or for worse.
Paul Fontaine, you're up next.
All right. My opinion too. My answer is not going to be popular, but I believe it's correct. And I don't know how you don't give it to MJF. Now you may not have liked the creative, and I wasn't a fan of a lot of it, but he held the world title for basically the whole year. He wrestled more often this year than he ever has. I think 25 matches in AEW this year, which, I mean, James put over 17 as a big number. Most of those were world title matches. Most of those were main events. Every time he headlined a pay-per-view, they did great numbers. And when he didn't defend his title on a pay-per-view, they did bad numbers. Now, that may have been, a self-fulfilling prophecy. They knew it was going to do bad, so they didn't bother having him defend the title. But not only did he wrestle all these matches, and they did good business, but they were also great matches. People forget he had a great match with Konosuke Takeshita on in February.
Yep.
He had he beat Bryan Danielson in the Iron Man match. He had the 4-way, which was one of the best 4-ways in history with the 4 pillars. He had the time limit draw with Adam Cole. That was great. He carried Hiroshi Tanahashi on no knees to a good match at Forbidden Door. He had a great match with Ethan Page on Collision. He had the run for the ROH tag team titles where he got a kangaroo kick over. You know, like,
Yeah, he did.
yeah, he had the world title match with FTR. That was great on Collision that people forget, where he Dax Harwood pinned him and they didn't follow up on it, unfortunately. Beat Adam Cole at All In the main event of the biggest non-WWE show in wrestling history. Beat Samoa Joe at Grand Slam in a great match. Beat Juice Robinson in a good match for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Had that awesome TV match with Kenny Omega on Collision that people forget about. Defended against Garcia in a good match, and beat Jay White at Full Gear, and then lost to Samoa Joe in a match where he was probably working at about 30% and gave every bit of that 30% to do a really good match in tough situation. And now he's going to get some much deserved time off. So I'm going with MJF.
That's a really great answer. One of the things I was thinking while you were talking about that was, if we had like a gimmick of the year, or not even gimmick of the year, but maybe I should have done this for do we have a storyline award? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I gave that to Orange Cassidy, but now that I'm thinking about it, I should have given it to the friendship between MJF and Adam Cole. That was the biggest storyline this year, in my opinion. It slipped my mind. The kangaroo kick, the trip to Outback, all of this. It was really compelling TV, oddly enough.
It was compelling, but I also hated it. Like, it was
them playing video games. I like that one.
It was,
yeah.
I didn't like most of them.
It was simultaneously compelling and annoying.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
It was
3
bad.
women, 2 for you, 1 for me.
Yeah. I mean,
I got Britt. He's like, okay, I'll take all 3.
All right, Jeff, take it over, my friend.
It's just so weird because I'm still, I have like 4 in my list. I keep marking them off and thinking about, because originally I think Danielson's a good choice, but he doesn't want to be valuable. That's the thing that kills me about him. It's like he just wants to be one of the guys, and like his character's inconsistent, but he's always there, and I like that. I came close to tweaking you guys and saying CM Punk, because I honestly believe he was very valuable to this company.
He was very valuable.
There's a case.
He got a TV show and everything. Mega Perek is high on my list too. God bless her being a former chief legal officer of this company and having to deal with these children. Congratulations on her engagement. I'm gonna go with Moxley.
Okay.
Moxley, to me, as much as I loved the Danielson pick, is great. It really is, and I also think the Punk one, if he hadn't got fired, would have been great. But I think Moxley, he not only is reliable, but he brings a certain. I mean, look, the bleeding has gotten a bit out of control. I will admit that in front of God and the universe. It's just a little much for him to have to bleed every week. But he enjoys it. But his selflessness on the whole international title thing with Phoenix, I think.
Yeah.
The tone he sets when the actual version of Wild Thing plays versus the Tramps or the Trogs. It's the Trogs. I just remember him going a flute solo. But I do think overall, in terms of bringing a certain toughness to AEW, that would not be there in a world of guys who are doing comedy skits and not wanting to be pro. I also almost came close to saying Joe, but I'm going to go with Mox on this one. And I think it's there were people who were MVPs of certain parts of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Mox throughout the year has been an MVP. So I'm going to go with him.
This one was tough. Like, CM Punk has drawn money for two to three separate television shows this year. You've had standout people that keep getting signed, like Dralistico, Parker Boudreaux. It's really tough. And I think MJF is a really good pick. Mox is a really good pick. In the end, I'm going with the guy who wrestled more than anybody in AEW this year, 60 matches, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, no,
Orange
that was a
Cassidy.
good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I think of valuable, I think they have had such an injury problem for so long in multiple years, but specifically this year, when people go down, Orange is always there. And I think it's kind of like Drew Brees might win MVP and you're not, but maybe the most valuable there might have been the line that protected him, kind of a thing like that. I know he's not the biggest star, but he did become a star, I think, this year. And that's my pick, Orange Cassidy.
I want to go back to something with Jeff's pick with Moxley that he didn't mention that is low key one of the most valuable things anybody in this company did all year was when he knew that he was concussed, he gave up the title during the match.
I literally mentioned it.
Did you?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was the first thing.
Okay. And I want to echo what Jeff said. Sorry, I was typing. I killed Jeff's feed. Well, then I want to put that over because that was incredible, and Jeff was right.
Also, hope Jeff's feed wasn't frozen. He was just holding the pose.
Jeff was 100% right. But I like Orange Cassidy too. I would have picked that, like as we were talking about favorite and all that. Like I had already written down MJF, but Orange Cassidy's a great pick too.
Would anyone like to guess who had the second most matches in AEW this year?
Sky Blue.
Sky Blue. That's right. 55. Also,
No, I was looking at
extremely
last
valuable.
year's. I was looking at last year's thing, and Kevin, you had this year was the stage, right? Getting rid of the stage for Tony Khan.
Yeah.
Last year, your delete moment was Adam or CM Punk diving off the stage.
The style. I noticed that. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm all about protecting the ankles, man.
And the one thing you'd have Tony Khan do in 2023, Jeff wanted a women's blood and guts match. Didn't happen. James wanted him to sign Nick Aldis. He went to WWE. Kevin wanted Eddie Kingston to beat MJF. Well, he beat Moxley and Danielson.
Yeah,
so
pretty close.
Yeah,
that's pretty close.
I asked him to hire an assistant, and he hired Will Washington. So I got that one.
We
didn't do predictions.
Will in charge of doing podcasts.
Should we do like one bold prediction for 2024?
Maybe one bold prediction, and I'm trying to look up. James and I did predictions for who would be holding all the titles this year.
Oh yeah,
last December 31st. I'm trying to pull it up because it should have emailed.
I was so close to getting a single one right, which was Chris Statlander with the TBS title.
I want to say that I predicted MJF was going to hold it for the whole year, and I almost made it.
You did.
Yeah. And
I wonder who
I think you might have said Sky Blue for the TNT. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I might have. And then I later went. That's the thing. I said Chris Statlander for the world title, and then later I was like, "Oh my god, I should have said Chris for the TNT." Yeah.
I'm sure one of us picked somebody from WWE to come in and take a belt at some point. So do we have while Kevin's looking, should we do our bold predictions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I will go last because I hadn't thought about a bold prediction.
Okay. It's kind of hard to do a bold prediction on no notice.
Yeah. I will go first.
Okay.
And I will say that Drew McIntyre and Sheamus will both be on the All-In card at Wembley.
Ooh,
I think that's
a great one. That's very bold.
Drew McIntyre and Sheamus at Wembley. Okay.
That would be fantastic. Jeff, what do you have? Oh, you're muted for God knows how long, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what happened there. I didn't say anything worth a damn during that time anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's say that by the end of 2024, that neither Ricky Starks nor FTR are still with the company.
Oh, that would break my heart.
Neither one or either one?
He's saying all.
I'm going to say neither. I'm going to say I'm saying all three are going to go back to the Fed.
They're getting in a time machine? Sorry, I can't.
Or they're going to go to WWE. Okay,
I can't resist.
Smart ass.
I can't. Like, it's just
I don't
my
need your
thing.
crap right now.
That was
You
just for
already-
pre-call.
You already don't listen to half the stuff I say on this show. What do you?
I can't believe Sorry, Jeff. I apologize.
It's okay.
The first one I had an excuse. I literally had my headphones off and everything. This one I don't know. Kevin, you got one? Or are you still
Oh wait,
looking?
no, I got our list though.
Oh, good.
Bold prediction.
Give me time to think.
I can tell you who I don't think they'll sign.
Yeah.
Oh, Becky and Seth are.
No, I was gonna
going
say
anyway.
Camille
Oh,
and Okada
Okada.
and
Okada's gonna be interesting.
nice.
Yeah, I don't think AEW is gonna get Okada either.
Camille, like from NWA.
Yeah, she's free agent. I think she goes to
I didn't know.
TNA.
Okay.
All right, my prediction is that Julia Hart will pin Mercedes Moné sometime next year.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so you're also predicting Mercedes Moné in WWE by the end of the year.
Both could happen.
One,
One could directly lead to the other.
Yeah, one. It seems like the weird thing that I think she'd come in and like just want to put somebody over,
Black mist in the face and then lays down for the
Yeah.
3.
and then we have
man.
dark
Maybe
Moné.
she give her a special purple mist.
Yeah, Mercedes Midnight. All right, I have our list for.
Well,
Oh, go
my
ahead.
bold.
Sorry,
I was gonna go. I was thinking about going with something to do with AEW television because I think they're in a precarious position right now with WWE trying to move in. But in the end, I'm just gonna go with something a little safer. That's I still think kind of bold. I really do think this is going to be the year of the women in AEW, and I think it's going to be a major. I think it's going to be a major part of the television. I think they're going to move to more matches. And I think it's going to be a much better division this year. And I think we kind of saw the start of that with World's End. All
Does
right.
a women's match headline a pay-per-view in 2024, James?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I think one with Mercedes could. I think that's very possible.
I think it's
I think-
Mercedes and Hayter at Wembley.
Oh,
That would be that'd be huge.
Mercedes and Julia would be good too.
Stop that.
That's Wrestle Dream.
Okay.
All right, real quick before we go, just
Okay.
to wrap these up.
All right.
This were the predictions that James and I made 1 year ago.
Oh, just the two of you. Okay.
Just the two of us. Actually, 1 year ago today. Let's see. We'll start with from the bottom and go up. Well, for the FTW title, James predicted that Christian Cage would be the champion, and I predicted Hook. So that was a safe pick.
Nice
Yeah.
work on that one.
ROH TV champion.
Okay.
James predicted Josh Woods. I predicted
did.
Wheeler Yuta.
I think you had the better prediction. I just I knew Josh Woods was in ROH.
Yeah.
That's all I knew.
Yeah. ROH 6-man. James predicted Private Party and Matt Hardy. And I predicted Top Flight and Action Andretti.
Huh.
So I at least got right
Ooh.
that they would be an active team.
Yeah. I just wanted Matt Hardy off of AEW television.
Delete.
Yeah. Yeah.
AEW trios. Let's see. James predicted the Dark Order, and I predicted the House of Black. That came true earlier. in
Yeah,
the
it
year.
did. I think that counts.
ROH Women's Champion. At this time, it would have been right after Athena won it. James predicted Riho, and I predicted Hikaru Shida. So we were both way off
Yeah, we were.
in a good way because Athena's awesome.
Mhm.
Pure Champion. Wow. James predicted Bandito, and I predicted Dax Harwood.
Oh,
Oh, that was a good one.
Ring of Honor champs. James predicted FTR, and I predicted the Varsity Athletes. We both saw a lot, I guess, in Josh Woods. Ring of Honor World Champion. Oh, this is sad. James predicted Jay Briscoe.
oh.
And I predicted Samoa Joe. A little we knew.
Which title was that
Wait.
one? TV
The
or
Ring of
World?
Honor World title.
World title? Okay.
Who is the world champion right now?
Kingston.
Kingston.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's Triple
right.
Crown champ.
Oh, I forgot about that.
None of us predicted it would be none of us had a prediction for the Continental Crown.
No, unfortunately.
TBS title. James predicted Chris Statlander, pretty close, and I predicted Sky Blue.
Nice.
There's an asterisk by it, and I don't know why. I put the asterisk, but I didn't put what the asterisk means. TNT title.
The asterisk, you say?
Yes.
I was gonna go there, but I'm glad you did first.
Maybe that's what it
might
meant.
be it.
TNT title. James predicted Jack Perry, and I predicted Ricky Starks.
I was way off on that.
Bad picks though. Then tag titles. Oh, here's where James comes through. His pick was Big Bill and Lance Archer.
Ooh,
I was so close.
Got half the team right. And I predicted Darby Allin and Sting.
I'm
right.
really sad that
I found mine and Jeff's predictions that I sent to you guys.
Oh, cool. Great.
Oh, I
Okay,
can't
so
wait.
Oh, I
Okay.
don't even know what this is. Go.
I don't even think we got these. I don't think we got any of them right. But
Perfect.
So tag champions on January 1st, 2024. These are mine. I said
Okay.
men's world champion will be Moxley.
Okay.
Women's world champion Riho. So that's not bad. I mean, she just fought
No,
for the
those
match.
neither of those are bad
Stop
at
patting
all.
yourself on the back. Read the rest of them.
TNT Powerhouse Hobbs.
Okay.
He did win the title at some point.
Yeah, he did.
TBS Willow.
Okay.
Tag champs Claudio and Wheeler. Trios champs Death Triangle. Pac's wacky title, as I was calling it at the time.
Yes.
Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
Women's tag, I was predicting would be added by this point, and it was going to be Anna and Tay.
Mhm.
That was
Instead, she
a
made a baby.
whiff. ROH World Champion Josh Woods. So I think we both had Josh Woods having a title. Tag champs, the Briscoes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, women's champion Serena Deeb in Ring of Honor.
Right.
ROH Pure Champion Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, that's a
and
good one.
ROH TV champ Lee Moriarty.
Okay.
Which didn't happen, but he's been in there. So these are Jeff's picks.
Oh, God.
right.
AEW World, Kenny Omega.
Okay.
That's who James
AEW
picked.
Women's, whatever Sasha's name is.
That's also what James's pick was.
Yeah. TNT title, Darby Allin. So he did
Okay.
win the TNT title over the course of the year. TBS title, Jade again.
Mhm.
Tag, Lucha Bros.
Okay.
Trios, Adam Cole and the Bucks. All Atlantic, Wheeler Yuta.
Okay.
ROH World Champion, Danny Garcia. ROH Women's, Tony Storm. So he's close.
A champion, yeah.
ROH TV Champion, Cesaro.
Okay.
That actually happened, I think, didn't it?
I think so.
No, he was the world champion.
Oh, it was world
Yeah.
champion. Okay.
ROH Pure. I give you guys 100 guesses. You won't come up with who Jeff picked.
Did I say Jeff Jarrett for this?
Nope.
Okay.
That would be amazing, though.
Oh, I can't
Leon Ruffin.
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
right. I had Leon Ruffin having this one.
Yeah. ROH Tag, Big Bill and Brian Cage.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
ROH Six Man, The Kingdom.
Mhm.
And other predictions, FTR Walk and Wardlow signs
I
with
keep saying FTR is going to
WWE.
leave this company
You're
every
just
year.
manifesting it. You're just manifesting it.
Not that I want them to go to WWE.
I know you just think they're gonna. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I mean, they probably would have when Punk got fired, but I don't think Tony was gonna
Yeah.
let them.
The only
Kevin, do
picks
you have
that
some
we
more of our
didn't.
list?
The ones we had left was women's world title was you picked Mercedes and I picked Britt, and
Okay.
world title you picked Kenny Omega and I picked MJF, so I was off by one day.
Oh,
Okay,
it was you that picked
Man.
Jeff.
I got
I think
one.
that makes you the most
one
successful.
prediction I want everybody to do, and then we can leave.
Okay.
Okay.
What will Sting's last match be?
Oh, that's a good one.
I agree.
I'll go.
with
I go
Kevin.
Sting and Darby against Edge and Christian.
Okay. What do you have, Jeff?
I was thinking Sting versus Christian for the TNT title,
Okay.
and that he
He
wins
wins.
it, and then they kind of retire the title in that form, much like they did with Brody Lee.
I would love
Like,
that.
Tony can have a tournament.
That makes sense for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
I could
I like that
totally
one.
see him doing that. Yeah.
I like that one
What's
a
yours,
lot.
Kev?
I was gonna say Sting and Darby against whoever the tag champs are.
I think it's going to be Sting versus Darby Allin.
Okay,
That's a good one. And
think
I also
he'll
predict
say
Ric Flair's
he-
going to turn on Sting, but it's going to backfire.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
that's easy
great.
money. That is 1-1, baby.
Well, the hard part of that is Ric Flair makes it to Revolution.
Yeah.
Not
they,
like,
they
I don't think
seem
he's
to
gonna
be
die,
keeping him. They seem to be
yeah.
minimizing his appearances now. So
Yeah.
Like
They're
I
doing
said,
a good
I
job.
just want Flair, Arn, and Tully to come out and do a beatdown of Sting and then just collapse because they're so tired. That's what I really want.
They just all. Yeah.
Love it.
All right.
All right.
That are we going to do predictions right now for next year?
Oh, I don't
I
know.
think we just did, didn't we? Oh, for the
Oh,
title.
for the titles, I haven't even thought about it.
We can just do that on the next boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Jeff
You
and
guys
I'll-
write your
Jeff
picks
and I'll
down.
do it
though.
too. We'll do it at the end of after the Dynamite review. So
Okay.
that gives everyone that's listening or watching. That's a teaser, as the kids call it.
Thank you, everyone who tuned in tonight. From me, from Kevin, from Paul, from Jeff, from everybody here at Fight Game Media. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here again January 1st, 2025.
Have a good time.